This is Wilbur, and we're playing Mechabellum. And this is Wilbur back with a replay review. And today we have a game against a 2-1 player that I think was around 2k MMR. He is the Farseer specialist, and I started with the Rhino specialist. And this game I kind of wanted to do a video on because I ended up picking the Assault Fortress card, which I think is a card that we don't see too often played or talked about, but is a really good tool for aggro players. It makes the fortress move faster, which allows it to be a bit more of an aggro unit. I think a lot of people like to play fortress as an aggro unit, but a little bit further back, and when you do assault fortress you can really put them on the line and have them go after the towers. So here we see our 2-1 player is going to do backline steel balls, grab a couple arc lights, and basically just play the way I think most 2-1 players play, which is this standard setup. He will be selling out of the steel balls. When I was in this game, I set up my round 1 to defend a steel ball push with the vertical sledges and my units pretty tightly grouped. And when I saw that the sledges were in the background and I noticed my opponent was a 2-1 player, I figured, okay, well, he's probably just going to go sell out of steel balls. We're going to see Stormcallers next round because 2-1 players really play robotic and love standard. They don't, in my opinion, think very much when they play this game. They just build the exact same board every single game in the first 1 to 3 rounds, and that involves, you know, about 4 arc lights and at least 2 Stormcallers, some marksmen. They love their Mustangs. Basically anything long range is how 2-1 players play. Like, I very rarely see a 2-1 player play aggro. We see our 2-1 player grab a Fire Badger. This little flank's going to come down the bottom left. I take a little while to decide what I'm going to take. So there are those Stormcallers, and the first steel ball is sold. For me, I end up taking the high-level crawler option and go for a flank on the top left, and then have a central crawler here. I was a little worried about taking the high-level crawler because if you do this, you're going to feed a lot of XP. Anything with levels is worth a lot more experience than units without. So what I was debating and whether or not is it worth it. I think I could get this tower because there was an arc light towards the center, not on the outside of the board. So I opted to grab these crawlers this round, and then I can always sell out of them. Like level 3 crawlers I think are worth $200 when they're sold. So here comes the Assault Fortress card. Our opponent grabs a subsidized marksman. So now we'll see that the Farseer comes down to counter the crawler. I sell out of it because I figured that was going to happen. Level my sledge, level my 2 marksmen. I've balanced my board out with crawlers in the back on round 2, I believe. This round I haven't quite decided what unit to build. Here my opponent is leveled his arc lights, added range to them, got a upgrade on his attack, sold out of his Fire Badger, and I grabbed 2 sets of Phoenixes. The reason I do this is because I was going to contest this flank with the Phoenix, but now it's gone. I thought they were going to be an okay purchase for this game. The Stormcallers coming down now really are hurting my vertical, or my bunched up setup. I'm doing a lot of work on those units. And you can see those level 3 crawlers are kind of just feeding XP to these arc lights now. So this round I get ran over pretty hard. But now we are on to round 4, and I get my Rhino, so I get my power spike here. A lot of nice cards. Laser sight, quick teleport's really good. Enhancement module is also a lot of fun, but I grab the laser sights this game. I sell out of that level 3 crawler and go into the Assault Fortress. So, talking more about the Assault Fortress card, it increases the fortress's attack by 20% and its HP by 20%, and then movement speed increases by 3, but you do lose 10 range. So you get a much faster, healthier, and higher damage fortress. So here, I decided to attack the side that has the Farseer with my Rhino and my new Assault Fortresses. Rhino just kind of providing some tankiness, getting in there, stalling out some of the damage that would have been on the forts. Right side is getting overrun by crawlers, but we are going to get in and pop this tower here. Opponent has quite a few units left. Marksman and the tower are probably going to spoil this round for us, but definitely a big improvement over the last round with the addition of the Assault Fortress. I think the main thing that went bad for me this round was with the subsidized Marksman card. I think my opponent predicted a little bit of what was going to happen. They saw that I had grabbed the Assault Fortress, so they bought 3 level 1 or level 2 Marksman and immediately gave them double shot. Now my opponent, reacting really quickly to my board, grabs the Melter and puts on the tank production line. Here I'd get 2 more forts and add them to the flank. And now I sell out of my Phoenix, which hasn't been doing me a ton of favors. And I also took the haste module and stuck it on that other fortress I had. Leveling my right tower now. I also add temporary speed to get those fortresses into the tower faster. And I put a crawler in between these 2 new flanking fortresses. At this point I was getting a little frustrated. My opponent's playing in what in my opinion is a very brain dead strategy. Just build everything with range and win. Let your opponent just walk into you. There's no reactive gameplay or active gameplay. It's all reactive. Just builds counters on top of counters. Your opponent's board, and I am losing to it pretty spectacularly so far. So I finally get a card that might help me break in the Wasp Swarm. My opponent took the additional deployment slot. Here I put the Wasp Swarm right down to delay these marksmen, and I add Fang production to my fortresses. I've also bought the defense enhancement, I think, last round. My opponent just adding another melting point, upgrading the first melter, getting laser sight onto that melter. I add another fortress here, rapid resupply, additional deployment, grab another fortress. So we have 2 fortresses basically every round so far coming down. I add range and temp speed and a couple of missiles. I'm worried about the my opponent using the Wasp Swarm as well. Opponent putting down the oil to slow the fortress advancement down. Missing my crawlers over here. So instant lock. One of my fortresses goes down right away. Second lock onto another fortress. Things are not looking great for Team Fortress over here, but I think the Wasp Swarm bought just enough time from these double shot marksmen to not hit my fortresses, and maybe the Fangs were helping a little bit too here. They were getting in front of the fortresses on this side, letting me get into that tower and letting me finally take a win, round win. So this turn, I spent a lot of time debating what to get here. I think against my opponent's board wraith's pretty bad with the double shot marksman and the melters. 2 tarantulas that are level 2 are pretty strong, but again, it's kind of the same problem. They're really short range. My opponent's playing the long range game, and Typhoons also kind of have the same problem. Typhoons are really good against crawler boards, and my opponent has like no crawlers. So I think both of us end up taking the triple Scorpion. I sell one immediately. I think my opponent did as well. So we got a scorpion here for my opponent. I stick one in front of this right side tower and one over here to help break in on the left side. Opponent double teching his multi-points with the EMP barrage, and I know I need some help, so I go for a cheese wasp play on this tower to buy me some more time. With the mobile beacon, with triple wasps, I know that this single fang pack is not enough to take down all these wasps. Plus I will have this scorpion doing some DPS as well, and perhaps this missile is also going to help me clear some of this chaff. And now I also put rocket punch onto the forts, but some of my forts are going to get EMP barrage right away, so the rocket punch is not going to be a big factor this round. But when his tower drops, that'll be a big help. All the fire coming down is going to stop fang production from having a big effect. We added the incendiary bomb to the stormcallers this round. But the wasps were the MVP here. Without them, I would have definitely lost this round, probably the game this round. So I had to get that tower snipe to continue this game. But the fortress damage is starting to rack up, and my opponent is in KO range. We get a bunch of other nice cards, Incendiary Bomb, Enhanced Mod again. We both opt for the Incendiary Bomb. It was pretty effective for him last round, clearing out the fangs. I just throw it across this tower. I think my opponent does end up using some bubbles here. Now that I have shown my wasp hand, I jump dry them out and just add them to this side as chaff that's unaffected by fire. I have a feeling that that firebomb's going to come down again. So I need something to get in front of these fortresses to buy some time for the fortresses to do DPS. My opponent did invest into the melter on this side, upgrading again with energy diffraction. This time I had the bubble to help with some of this firebomb problem, and also kind of delay some of that EMP barrage getting onto the fortresses and stopping the fang production and rocket punch. So once again, rapid resupplying, range enhancement, and high mobility coming down from me. And just using a mobile beacon to try to direct these wasps a little bit. They don't have a lot of hope to get in, but we'll try. I have now upgraded 3 of my fortresses here, not opting to add more fortresses to the board, but just enhancing what I already have down. See the bomb for me just barely getting a little bit down, and my opponent's also was pretty ineffective on the sort of middle area with all the fortresses that didn't lose their shields. So now you can kind of see the power of the assault fortress. Even with the multi-beam, these level 2 fortresses can DPS down that melter before it has a chance to lock on and start its energy absorption. So with the tower take, this second melter also goes down, and we just have this right side that we've kind of abandoned and had our opponent invest too much resources into by design. We have to clean that up. So we lose our tower, but this melting point is not going to get in range fast enough to lock onto all these fortresses and become this unstoppable energy absorbing menace. So he gets 2 shot by our laser sight fort. We have a couple of fangs. Trying to be the hero over here. That get rocket punched. So, into the last round, our opponent just survives with 250 HP. Things are looking really dicey. I opt for the smoke bomb, because if it hits, it's going to be a pretty big benefit to us. Opponent kind of basically skips with the interference mod. So we get the final tech onto our melters, being the energy absorption. I think I misquoted last round saying it was on there. It's just energy diffraction. So opponent also grabs shielded fangs, always really strong against these types of boards where our fortresses have to chew through the fangs before they hit the melters. I also do my final upgrade with range enhancement. Pretty expensive, but also pretty beneficial. The faster we can hit those melters, the better. So this round I am just going to grab a couple of levels on the fortresses that I can. So I have 2 level 3 guys. I think we just add a little bit of chaff with our remaining money. Move around our wasps a little bit. Our smoke is going to land, which is massive. Our opponent did not have enough money to purchase bubbles. I think that's going to be the deciding factor in this round. I actually unlocked the Mustang and put down 2 to help get through the fangs. So a nice little read for me. It's expecting something, or just knowing that I'm going to need more help getting through those fangs. You can see the fangs are down, and all the fortresses are onto the melters. Even with energy absorption, they go down to the big fortresses that are now hitting 24,000 damage per attack. See that EMP barrage coming in, popping a bubble, but not landing on all the big targets that it needs to. So with that, we win with the assault fortress. So I think this was kind of a fun game to talk about in the replay. I think if my opponent had purchased a couple of bubbles, maybe the smoke gives me 0 benefit, and these melters might do a little bit more, but it would have probably been a similar outcome. I think maybe 1 more fortress would have fell before if he actually bubbled. But I was getting really frustrated when I was playing this game because I don't think my opponent played particularly well or did anything particularly interesting. Just like boring standard play. Like there was no attempt to flank this tower. After he sold out of this fire badger, I mean, this corner was once again wide open for a flank. Like 1 wasp here, like, probably gets into this tower and wins in the game. Opponent just was really tunnel visioned on, just upgrading melting points and playing to play defense. So maybe with those first few rounds where he was winning really heavily, he kind of just thought, okay, well, if I just build my board a little bit better, I'll win and it'll be game over, instead of trying to think creatively. I think any play over here might have worked too. If you put 1 melting point here, or maybe 2 stormcrawlers and like some crawlers or something, this would have probably went down and this tower would have been taken. So I think a lot of things my opponent could have did better. For me, I'm not sure. Maybe getting fortresses sooner. I think I got them on round 4 and then started to plop them down every round. I could go back and check here when my first fortresses were played. Yeah, round 4 was when the fortresses came with the rhino. I don't think I really had the money to do it on round 3, but round 3 was a really rough round, if I remember right. I took a lot of around 4, I think I took a lot of damage this round. So yeah, not my best game for sure. I think my opponent probably should have won this game. Like, there were so many plays that could have been made to win, like round 9 or round 8, that my opponent didn't do. So anyway, I think those are my thoughts this one. Let me know what you think of Assault Fortress. If you like the card, if you think it's overpowered, or if you think it's underpowered, let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
We have quite the selection for you here. 2 Mechabellum videos just for you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. Watch out for flanks coming your way.